Hi everyone. So today I'm doing a training on if you're having a hard time getting clients. So I posted this question here in my Facebook group called the Generation Community, and I put, who here is looking to gain 3 clients for the new year? And as you can see, there's 45 comments. Half of those are me responding back to people, but there's definitely, 22 people actively saying like, hey, I'm here and I want 3 clients in the new year. And the reason I am filming this video is because I've been having so many DM conversations with everyone, and I appreciate everyone who answered this question honestly and then was very honest with me in the DMs about how they're having a hard time finding clients, and what things are like for them. And please note that if this is you and if you're in my community, I take every single one of these conversations so seriously and I listen to what you guys have to say. And that is what motivates me to make these trainings, because I really want to be able to help you to the best of my abilities. And while I can be in the DMs and send you guys over some tips, I thought it would just be really helpful to have an all-encompassing training on what to do if you're having a hard time getting clients. And now I'm going to switch this to slideshow mode, but I'm going to say for the majority of people in this group, you could kind of say clients and jobs and opportunities kind of interchangeably, because a lot of you guys are freelancers. And by freelancer, I mean someone who is a virtual assistant, social media manager, web designer, um, even coaches sometimes. But you guys are in a position where you could either like apply for opportunities or you can go off on your own and find a client independently. And to be honest, the first few years of me doing this, I was doing both all of the time. I would constantly apply for jobs as well as get clients, and I do them both simultaneously. And I also want to say before I start this training, if you are in a position where you have your own business and you're not quite making ends meet, I highly, highly recommend taking some sort of like side gig on, whether you're looking on Upwork for just contract-based opportunities or working remotely in a position while building your business. I think this is such a great opportunity. I actually started my business while working remotely for a company during the pandemic, and that worked out for me quite well, because when you are managing your own time working from home, you do have a little bit more time to work on your business as well. So I'm going to start with that. All right, and tip number 1 I'm going to give you guys is building a business takes time and persistence, and you're not alone in the challenges you're facing. So if you're saying, I've applied for things, I'm not getting anything, please know that there is a whole room of people in this scenario. I've been in this scenario. In fact, I thought of entrepreneurship for the first time at the end of 2019, and it was the beginning of 2021 before I actually got a client. I changed my business and what I was going to do quite a few times. So that kind of threw a ring into the plan. But like I'll say, it does take time, and it does take persistence. And you're going to hear a lot of no's in the process. You're going to be declined a lot of opportunities. But the businesses that hold on really are the ones that persist through this. And so I'm going to give you an example of a podcast I listened to during this time period that really helped me keep going. Actually, 2 examples. So one is I was listening to a podcast of an entrepreneur, and I forget what she was selling at first, but she was going around and knocking on doors, which I couldn't imagine. I've always pitched online, which is much easier when you're sitting behind a computer to have the courage to sell yourself. But she was actually knocking on doors, and it took her, I believe, going up to 600 people's houses to get her first yes. But all she needed was that first yes in order to start her business and make her dreams a reality. So whenever I'm feeling discouraged, I'm like, have I talked to 600 people? Have I like pitched my services to 600 people? And usually the answer is no. At this point, I probably have, but I'm really doubtful that if you put that kind of effort in, that you'd be left with nothing. You'd probably either be getting feedback on how you can improve your product, service, or program, or you probably would get a client by that point if you were targeting people very specifically and doing your research and reaching out to those people. And there's another entrepreneur, I read her book, and she wasn't doing well for a while. She was pouring all her business or all her money into her business, and She was doing events, and the very last event she did was like a massive success. But if she had stopped like right before she did that event, it wouldn't have happened for her. So she just kept going and kept persisting, even though these events were failing time and time again. She would just tweak and remaster them, and finally she got it right. So I know that there's a lot of posts out there of like, do this specific thing and you'll make 6 figures in 6 weeks or whatever. And I'm not saying that that isn't possible, because I don't want to discourage you guys, but I want to make light of the fact that for a lot of people, it does take a lot of persistence, a lot of learning. And there is kind of like a curve to this. And so the more you are persistent in this journey, the more success you'll have. And even people who are able to reach those large milestones, like, they're persistent on their journey too, because maybe they had prior experience that got them to that point, but they'll have to persist against something. So that's the first tip I'm going to give you. All right. Embrace rejection as a step closer to success. So there's some of you that I've been talking to that just feel really discouraged, and I get it. When I actually applied for the job I got in finance, that was shortly after I graduated college. I had been working in the coffee industry for like 5+ years, knew it was time for me to be done. I applied for 10 jobs a day for a few months before I actually got this job. And so I know how much it is discouraging when you hear no time and time again, or you don't hear anything and you're left with like, is this for me? But the more you hear no, and the more you're not getting things, but you're trying and you're putting yourself out there, you're just one step closer to success. And as you keep reframing things, you'll get there. And so just celebrate yourself for getting as far as you have. I heard another story before where a family would sit down for dinner, and one of the family members would say, like, how many no's did you get today? And so they were celebrated by getting more no's, because that meant that they were reaching out to more people. And so I just thought that was interesting. You could definitely reframe your brain in terms of celebrating the no's, because that means you're doing something. You're not just sitting idly by and like imagining this scenario in your head. You're actually going for it. All right, reach out consistently. So if you've read the book 100 Million Leads by Alex Hormozi, or taken his course, he actually recommends reaching out to 100 leads daily. I actually am like, I think that that's a lot. I think that if you're in a place where you're absolutely not working or doing anything, you could definitely make that work. But I know a lot of us are building businesses on the side of doing other things. So I would say just stay consistent with your efforts. Set yourself a goal. Like I said, when I was applying for jobs, I was still working part-time. And so 10 applications a day was like, that was something I knew I could stick with. So I would do that. And even now, sending like a certain number of emails, or a certain number of LinkedIn messages, or a certain number of job postings or whatnot, like, just by being able to stay consistent with my efforts, I think makes me feel really good. And it gives me data to work with, because if you are reaching out to 100 people on Facebook, 100 people on LinkedIn, 100 emails, and you're seeing like, oh, this one stream actually works a lot better than the others, then you could just go with that one, and your efforts will multiply. So don't discount that. I think the point here is that most people don't do enough outbound reach outs, and that's what Alex Hormozi is trying to describe. Is a lot of people are saying they're not finding success, but they're actually not reaching out, and they're not pitching themselves. So I'm going to give you some examples of what reach outs look like later on in this training, but that's what I'm going to say for now. All right, and tip number 4, do build your brand, but don't rely solely on this in the beginning. So I see a lot of people when they're starting off saying like, oh, I'm posting to Instagram daily. And that is great. Like, I think that that's a great habit to get into. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, they will definitely attract your right customers. But I don't think that waiting is enough in the beginning if you're really serious about getting clients. Those streams of income and those leads will eventually find you and reach out to you. But in the beginning, you're gonna have to do some reach out. Or like I said, apply for positions, stuff like that, because you're going to have to build your experience, and that's how people are going to find your account. So build those accounts, but don't 100% rely on attraction marketing to begin with because people don't know you. And so you're going to have to reach out to them for them to get to know you. All right, now going into some of the platforms you can use and what to do about this and how to get these clients. So LinkedIn is the first one I will speak to. I actually just made a training on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So if you are someone who's searching specifically to clients and you have a little bit of extra money, I would definitely recommend signing up for Sales Navigator. You can target your leads specifically and reach out and connect with them there. You could also apply for freelancing opportunities in LinkedIn Jobs. And I've done this before. What's funny is I'll apply for the job and then we'll get to talking and I'll tell them like what my business is about. And they're like, oh, actually, I need that service. But for those of you who are web designing, virtual assistants, even coaches, like there are plenty of jobs on LinkedIn. So apply there. I'll also say there are remote job boards specifically for freelancers and those who want to work remotely. I have those listed in my spreadsheet in my Facebook group. If you need the link to that, please let me know. But I was talking to someone in the DMs and they were saying like, I hate job boards. And I was like, but look, like you want clients and there's virtual assistant jobs on there. So don't discount them. Job boards are not the same as they used to be, and there's plenty of remote work and even things like project-based work, like creating a website or creating a logo. And so that is really great. The other thing is LinkedIn is a business platform. So when you're pitching people on there for business services, it's more accepted than Facebook or Instagram, which are more social profiles. This is specifically for businesses to connect. So I don't think it's super weird cold pitching people on LinkedIn. Obviously, you have to do it with tact and style and research the company, make sure they're ideal for your product, service, or program, and also just, be friendly, say, like, take the time to get to know them. Don't just copy and paste something, but people are more receptive to those messages on LinkedIn. And then the last thing I'll say about job boards and freelancing opportunities is I didn't put in this presentation, but there's also Upwork and Fiverr if you are looking for kind of like a project-based or a long-term role. They even have those on there. You do get a percentage of your earnings taken out by those. So it's not the first route I would go, but if you are serious about getting a client and you just need places and leads to apply, by all means, use the LinkedIn job search, job boards, Upwork, and Fiverr, and without a doubt, you'd be able to apply for like 20 plus opportunities per day. So if you're not that point where you're at least putting yourself out there, applying for jobs like this, you need to get there. Otherwise, I'm not going to say there's no reason to complain because I do recognize the validity in it, but chances are if you're saying you're not getting a client and you've applied, like, are you applying for 10, 20 jobs a day? If not, then go do that and then do that for a while and then come back and tell me how it's been, because I am sure you will get something. Even those of you who are coming to me and you're saying I'm based not out of the United States and it's harder, like I said, in the list of remote job boards I have, there is an option to toggle it by hiring anywhere in the world or hiring by, and then you put your geographic location in there. There's 100% a way to get that. And Upwork, Fiverr, again, they hire outside of the US. So I understand that there is a barrier to entry there. However, there are a lot of opportunities still out there. If you're searching correctly, there should be plenty of leads. If there's not, and if you're in a place where you've tried these methods and there's still not leads, please let me know, because then, we can have a separate conversation. All right, explore Facebook groups. Again, Facebook groups have job postings in them, if you didn't know that. They also have people who are looking for specific help if you're not looking to apply for a role or not in a freelancing position. And if you are not finding like 5 to 10 opportunities per week on Facebook for your specific job or your specific business, find new Facebook groups, because I think there's so many opportunities on Facebook. People are actually asking for help. Same with LinkedIn groups. I've seen it more in Facebook groups though. Yeah, don't discount them. And if you're not finding opportunities, ask for support in finding different groups. Right, cold emailing. I was really against cold emailing for a while because I was like, oh, it's super phony. But if you actually go in and research the company and see that they could be ideal for your product, service, or program, I think it's a great way to connect with people, because, you know, people are checking their emails, people are, you know, looking for solutions to their problems. I'm trying to do more videos on cold email marketing, but basically what I'd say is use the platform Apollo.io to start with. If you're a business to business company, you'll be able to put in different criteria, and this will help you connect to your ideal client if they're a business. If you want more info on this, I do have a video specifically on how I set up my Apollo and how I set up my email sequence and how I kind of audited my email. But basically in the email, you want to offer some sort of value to the business owner. So whether that's a free resource, whether that is like a free call for them to hop on, whether that is you took time and really looked through them in their business and you have a suggestion that you're giving them, and then you want a call to action at the end that drives them to your offer. If you are doing a specific platform, like if you're like a Kajabi expert or something, I don't know the website to this, but you could actually find people who are using that specific platform. Go ahead and Google it and it may come up. If you want to ask me, go ahead and ask me, because I'll probably look it up after I film this video. But yeah, like there's so many ways to find cold leads through email campaigns. Like I said, Apollo.io is free. So there's no excuse there. And I would say start off slow, because you don't want to send messages to spam, but find 10 companies and send them an email each day, Monday through Friday. And eventually, you know, you'll get a response there. And then like I said too, like constantly iterate what you're doing. So if it's not working after 100 emails, you got no responses, switch the way you're doing your emails, switch your subject line, switch your offer, something like that. But cold email is a way to reach more people for sure. All right, ask for feedback. If you are at the point where you got on an interview with someone and they did give you the news that you didn't get the job, or if you are on a discovery call with a potential client and they say no, just ask them why. Like most people give that feedback. I've been on discovery calls before and someone was like, well, it was between you and another person and I went with the other person. And I think that that's really fair for someone to say that. And I would also ask them why. And a lot of times they give me very specific feedback of like, well, the other person was able to give me this guarantee and I just didn't see that in yours. Or, you know, I think that you have a great personality, but I'd like to see more experience before I hire you, or something like this. And that leaves the lines of communication open with you and that person, because they tell you exactly what you need to do for them to hire you in the future. And you could take that with a grain of salt or not. Maybe they're suggesting something that's totally not in your values and you're like, well, probably not my ideal client. Or maybe they're suggesting something that you haven't even thought of. So use this feedback to improve and strengthen your case in the future with other clients, and just learn from every single opportunity. Like I said, no's can be a real blessing because you are learning from them. And I know that it's hard to shake it off at first because it does feel bad when you're rejected. But the more you're rejected, the more you could just see it as part of owning a business and part of learning. And so don't take it personally. A lot of times, you know, you're making business decisions too. You're making decisions on who to follow on social media, what programs to invest in, and you're just doing the best you can with the information you have at the moment. All right, and keep trying. Every outreach is a chance for success. Every application is a chance for success. Stay persistent, keep reaching out. Like I said, one failed opportunity should not discourage you. I know that it is discouraging and that is a human emotion, but keep going, because you're not going to find success if you quit. And the last thing I'll say is invest in yourself. So for some people, this looks like monetarily investing in themselves, getting in a course or a program, or gaining mentorship where they're able to shorten the timeline of getting to their results because they're working with someone guiding them through the process. Some other investments look like time if you don't have the money to invest right now. So take the time to acquire new skills, look on YouTube, keep watching these videos, and keep investing in your success for the future. And also just time and attending networking events, getting to know people so that you could keep growing. So I hope this was really helpful for you guys. If you are feeling discouraged about not getting clients, here was my best tips. If you have any comments or want to add any tips, please comment below. If you're in a place where you're feeling discouraged, keep plugged into the community, keep applying for jobs or keep reaching out to clients, and you will eventually get there. I know that it could feel discouraging in the moment, but it's just all part of the journey. I hope you liked this video. If so, please subscribe to my channel. I am helping people with lead generation as well as showing different softwares that I use, different strategies I have, and trying to give the best tips for you guys to be successful in your business. Thank you so much and see you in the next video.